If you were around this time last year, then you might remember that for Autism Awareness Month I did a video sharing my experience as a neurodiverse person, and that video seemed to get quite a positive reaction, so I thought for this year I'd elaborate a bit further and talk about an aspect of my autism that I didn't really get to fully cover in the last video, which is my sensitivity to sensory stimuli. Incidentally, if you're wondering what my new 3x3 cube is, it's a Moyu Next cube, which I was fortunate enough to get for my birthday, and it's a pretty decent cube. My best times on it are sub 30. It's not magnetic like my last one was, but it seems to turn quite well and it feels nice as a stimming toy. For those that don't know, a lot of autistic people need something compulsively to fidget with, and the Rubik's Cube kind of serves that function for me. Anyway, back onto the main topic of the video. So the reason I didn't really get on to talking about the sensory part of my autism the last time is that it hasn't drastically impacted my life in the same way that my lack of social skills growing up did, for instance. Now that's not to say this is true for every autistic person, and I recognise I'm probably quite lucky in a sense, given that some autistic people shut down and really struggle to function in environments where there's too much noise or too much going on. I do get overstimmed, but I'm still able to function if, say, I'm on a train with lots of rowdy people. It's more just irritating than anything. But anyway, I'm getting ahead of myself. So honestly, the sensory aspects of my autism were probably more evident when I was younger, likely because I've learned to cope out of necessity with a lot of stuff. My parents will tell you stories of how they would take me into bars or restaurants when I was little sometimes and then have to leave because I'd be screaming at the top of my voice that I don't like the smell. Nowadays I don't walk into places and start screaming, but I would say I am exceptionally sensitive and averse to certain smells, especially when it comes to things like energy drinks or alcoholic beverages. I'm actually still really fussy when it comes to drinks, as in 90% of the time, if given the option, I will just drink water. Occasionally I do drink lemonade, and if I'm feeling really adventurous I might have a hot chocolate, but that's about it as far as hot drinks go. Yeah, I know, it's outrageous, I'm a British person who doesn't drink tea, but what can I say, it just doesn't appeal to me. As far as my sensitivity to sound goes, I always hated loud bangs as a kid. Like, if I was anywhere with balloons, for instance, I couldn't enjoy myself because I'd just be constantly thinking, when are the balloons going to pop? When are the balloons going to pop? I also really hated the school bell, and I think at one point I actually had memorised where each bell was on the wall so that I wouldn't be standing too close to one at the beginning or end of a work period. Even now, if I'm in a shop in town and hear they're going to be testing the fire alarm, I'll make for the exit as quickly as I can, and in fact this literally happened to me like a week ago as of writing this script. It's weird because it's not the noise itself so much that makes me uncomfortable, because once it's over, it's more the anticipation that I don't like. That being said, as I alluded to earlier, environments with persistent loud noise, such as being on a packed train, do bother me as well, especially if it's a late night train with people being rowdy. I'll definitely try to avoid those services where possible. As a general rule, anywhere there are lots of people being intoxicated is likely to make me feel uncomfy, so that also includes bars and clubs and other such venues. I'm not really a nightlife person on the whole, though I have joined in with it in the past, mainly for social reasons. But honestly, I find it hard to hear people or concentrate on what they are saying most of the time, and when I socialise with friends I like to, socialise, as in actually interact and have a conversation without having to shout in people's ear. When we had flat parties at university, I always preferred the end of the night when the music was turned down and some people had started to leave, so it wasn't so crowded and I felt like I could actually talk to people and make new friends. So that was a quick overview of the sensory aspect of my autism and how it has affected me during my life. Once again, do keep in mind that my experience is not universal. Autism affects everyone in different ways, and if you're interested in learning more about this, then I recommend you listen to other neurodiverse content creators and get to hear a range of different perspectives. And if you are on the spectrum yourself and have your own experiences to share, then I would very much like to hear them in the comments section down below. This is Midnight Chimes, still waiting for the last train home, and hopefully it's not too rowdy.